Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Peteman Reviews. Today we have two Transformers for you. These are the Generation Junkions. Wreck-Gar in the brown and Heap in the red. Now the Generation version of the Junkions are actually pretty difficult to transform and pretty fragile as well. If you try to move the handlebars they will break and they will pop off. And pop off as they're not meant to pop off, they will actually break, so don't do that. Now, unlike the original Junkion releases, there's more than one, in that before you only ever had Wreck-Gar, so you just had to buy infinite versions of Wreck-Gar. They couldn't ride on each other like they could in the movie either. These guys can, so what I'm going to do is transform Wreck-Gar into robot mode and leave Heap in his bike mode. That way we can then pose them afterwards. They both transform identically, so if you wanted to transform Heap, you just do exactly the same as you would Wreck-Gar. Okay, so we'll start off with Wreck-Gar. First thing you do is to remove this part here of the rear. So what you have to do, pop it out. Relatively simple. So this actually becomes his axe, his throwing axe like that. It will then just split like so. So you just go like that, like that. So you could have it either way. I guess in robot mode you could hold it like that, but it also spins. So that's enough of that easy part to do with there. Obviously you've got the somewhat ungainly hook. There's not too many things you can do with that. Okay, so now the rear wheel, we need to deal with that. So the rear wheel, we want to get it so it's this side. So it just rotates. You can see the rotation there. Rotates up. The wheel does spin, as it does on this one too. So they're not really rubber, but they look like rubber and they're plasticky and they do spin quite well. So that always helps. Okay, so now we turn our Wreck-Gar upside down. This part of him now wants to come out and pop up like that. So it all just detach quite well. Depending on which, I guess, how transformed your Wreck-Gar is or on how stiff it is, sometimes these are a little bit hard to pop out. You see there's the little parts that go in there which go into the end here. So you just have to be a little bit careful because it will pop out, but sometimes it pops out a little bit too quickly. Okay, now these are actually not going to be Wreck-Gar's head, it's a false head. So in the movie, or in the G1 version, these are actually his head. It's actually a false head. His head is all the way down here. These actually become his legs, both of them. So, you just about see what looks like a waist here. So that's the waist. So what you now have to do is create legs. You can kind of see how this bit here becomes a foot, which is exactly what it does do. It's got a ball joint, you can just see it there. So, you should now rotate the legs down, like so. And you've got a leg. Now, this one, it's similar, but it's slightly different because of the way it goes. So this part here becomes the foot there. Actually, the whole thing rotates up this way because that's the foot there. So this part, you just want to make sure that it kind of rests in between. You get one leg, and then this bit here, which is his foot, you just want to part like that. So we've got a foot. So it's not the same on either side, so it doesn't have the symmetry that one could normally perhaps expect from a Transformer. Now this is where the handlebars, in theory, are meant to pop out and rotate back. Don't do it. Leave it like that. It looks a bit ungainly, but it's better than having them snap off. So they do say like that. Now the wheel, I don't know if I showed you, I probably didn't put it in quite right. You got that little slat there, goes into the hole there, and that just secures it. So just make sure when you put it in, as you can see, that just secures it there. Okay, so we've now got our lower half of Wreck-Gar. Okay, so now the arms unhook and rotate round like so, and you can see again you've got a little hole there, little socket there, and they clip into place. Exactly the same on the other side, clip into place. This then rotates around like that, so that you've got a hand. Okay, so you've got the arm like this. Now the wheel does actually detach. It's sometimes a little bit difficult to detach. You just have to fiddle with it a bit. But it will detach. It comes off you can actually detach it completely, but the idea is you have it like that, so you can move it around. So it's almost a shield. It will, with a little bit of effort, but no, probably won't plug it off completely. So you can have it like that out of the way, or you can move it more up to more as a classic pose, I guess, in the shield. And finally the head. As you can see, the real head is in here. You just need to press down there and then it pops up. Kind of looks very, very short in there, doesn't it? Pause. Okay, so you've got the head here. It looks kind of low in there. That is correct. That is how it's meant to be. And actually, he's just need to swivel his waist around again, make sure that that's all the right way. Okay, so that is Wreck-Gar. Now he is quite poseable, and he will hold on to his gun as it's not a gun, it's a throwing axe. So he will hold on to that. So you can have him in various poses. As you would expect with most modern Transformers, he's got quite a lot of options to move. Because of his head being quite low in there, while it will move all around, it kind of, you almost think he would struggle to see a bit. So now on to the, actually before we pose him, we'll just do a little bit of a height comparison. So we'll put him up into a reasonable height. Like so. Okay, so Guzzle, a mini-bot, or Sparker-bot to be precise, kind of about twice the height of Guzzle. Again, you'd expect that. And against RC, so RC is the Thrilling 30s release, so a little bit more modern than Wreck-Gar. The two are actually a very similar height. And actually, I know, obviously they're not the same, but they're very similar constructions, and they're quite both thin-limbed, especially around the arms, and both fairly true to the movie depiction of them. So those two actually work really well together. So we've done our height comparison. Now we just want to get him onto the bike. Now, we'll just have to be aware of these handlebars again. I'm not going to pull them back because they will break. So, with a little bit of manipulation, as you can see, he will, because of the fact you've got enough bend on the legs, he will bend and he will sit on there. You just need to do a little bit of holding with the hand, and he will sit. Just move the arm like this. Give him his weapon, and then it's just a question of balancing. But once we've got the balance, as you can see, he very nicely rides on the bike, on, in this case, Junkions. And it looks, well, it's a classic pose, isn't it? That's exactly what you expect to see from Transformers the movie, and that's exactly what you can get. It took many, many years. These guys didn't come out till a long time after the movie, 2010 to be precise. So that's, what, 24 years? 24 years, so nearly a quarter of a century since they were originally shown in the movie, for the toys to come out that actually could replicate what they did in the movie. Better late than never. I mean, let's face it, RC took even longer to be released. There we are. If you're going to get the guys, these two, do try and get two of them, because you can do this. Okay, if you get, I think there's actually three of them. There's a third guy. I'm not sure of his name. I want to say it's something to do with iron, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't have him. You don't see him very often. And if you can get him, get him. They do also have a special botcom release of these, which are all in kind of Insecticon colours. They're expensive, but they do the job as well. And again, you get all three of them at once, so it's probably worthwhile. Otherwise, make sure you get two of them. Just because then you can pose them. If you only get one, one is good, but two is better when you're talking about Junkions. Plus, if you then compare them with the Sharkies, you've then got three Sharkies from Unique Toys, the Sharkticons, and three Junkions, which works very well. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave any comments below, and I will see you on the next review. Thank you. Goodbye.